Well, hey, good evening. Welcome back to my little gardening show. Tonight I wanted to show you a few things that we're doing. I want to highlight my raised beds, status on those. I want to show you kind of the garden layout that I'm thinking about this year, and then I want to show you a tool that I got to help me take care of the garden, the plants this year. So we'll start with the raised beds. We managed to get some dirt, some soil in there this past weekend. Got some lettuce planted, some of our greens, and they're doing pretty well. I finished watering them today. The only catch is that the weather turned cold. It's been in the 20s the last 2 days, so I kept the storm windows over the bed to protect the plants, and as you can see, they're doing fine. Though I've got one that's just got a little hint of sun skull. Not bad at all. There's just a little bit of white. It's a little faded, but I think it's going to be okay. Usually the remedy for that is to just let them be in the shade for a little while, or shade them just a little bit to give them time to recover. But no sprouts yet, obviously, because it's been too cold. And that's okay, it'll eventually sprout. Over in this bed I've got my radishes. Again, nothing sprouted yet. We did water them. Hopefully that'll be okay. As far as the layout of the garden, I got my pea trellises. The peas are in the basement. They're starting to sprout. The plan is once they're around 2-3 inches tall to bring them out here, transplant them into the garden. If that ends up being an epic fail, I've got a lot of pea seeds left. I'll just direct sow. I mean, we've got plenty of time. But after the peas, then I'll plant cucumbers and my Tigger melon. And we may do some watermelon on one of these trellises. We'll see how that goes. As far as the layout then, for the rest of the garden, I've been using this 4 foot by 5 foot template that I just pieced together. I've got all kinds of PVC links in the garage. 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, 10 foot. So I just put together this little 4 by 5 foot template to help me visualize the beds. You know, I haven't done anything permanent yet, but just kind of laying it out and then scratching around the inside perimeter of the square. I want the spacing to be a little wider this year because my plans to plant flowers on the end caps of the beds to try to attract beneficial insects, pollinators, assassin bugs. So my plans to have 4 foot by 5 foot beds in this section. Another 3 here, with the row spacing maybe being a little smaller, just so I can get 3 beds in here. And just kind of map it out, let's figure out what I'm going to plant. The plan is to have a pretty wide walking path right down the middle of the garden. About 3 foot, at least 3 foot wide. And in this section I'm going to do tomatoes. May do the trellis again. I'm a little leery of that though, because we've got a new puppy that's curious and somewhat destructive, as evidenced by the back door and threshold there that she's successfully scratched the paint off of. Her name is Coco, a little Shorky, part Yorkshire Terrier, part Shih Tzu. Tons of energy, but a little rotten yet. So anyway, because of that, I'm thinking about going back to the cages just to remove the temptation of chewing on anything. We'll see. if I do the cages, I won't have as much room. I was able to do, I think, 15 plants on 3 trellises that were in a space about this size, whereas with the cages, I'll only be able to do probably 10 or 12. I don't know. We'll see. And in the greenhouse, I'm planning on keeping that up and doing some herbs in there, I think. These plants are doing really well. I watered them tonight as well. They're getting a little dry. I'm hoping once the weather's consistently in the at least upper 30s, 40s, to go ahead and plant these outside. Right now they're still in their pots. And in my new tool, I've got a 4-gallon backpack sprayer. There's a gardening channel I'm subscribed to that's under the name of Frank. A little shout out to Frank at the Pagan Garden. I think that's what he calls his Belshazzar's Pagan Garden. Anyway, he had a video about this, about a 4-gallon backpack sprayer that he got from Harbor Freight Tools. And I thought, man, that was an awesome deal. I think he paid like 15 bucks for it. So when I was visiting my folks, they've got a Harbor Freight Tools where they live, and lo and behold, they had the same deal. My dad's a member there, so he got the special discount catalog or whatever that had this, and it was 15 bucks. It's really nice. It's got a filter here, you know, so you pour your water in there, or your compost tea, or whatever you're going to put in there. I'm planning on using it just to water, and then do maybe compost tea. It's got, you know, a little hand trigger that's got a button on it so that, you know, when you're holding it down, you can put that in so that it continues to spray. So all you gotta do is just keep pumping to keep it going. The pump, pretty ingenious, pretty simple. I mean, it's just as you pull the pump down, this canister goes down and pump air into the tank to force the water up into the sprayer. It came with I think another 3 nozzles, a nozzle kit. What's in there, which I haven't opened yet. But awesome deal. Might take a little getting used to carrying 4 gallons of water on your back, but it wasn't too bad. And the advantage of using the sprayer is, you know, in beds like this where you just planted it and the seeds aren't very deep, putting a fine mist on the beds is better than using a traditional sprayer, at least I think. So anyway, again, just giving a shout out to Frank there at Belshazzar's Pagan Garden. Appreciate the heads up on this deal. So that's all for now. We'll go from there. Feel free if you have any questions or comments to post. Until next time, bye.